What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Couple on Fire podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to use your purpose to keep you motivated. And that's coming up right now. Are you a Christian and you are looking to take your faith, your family, and your future to the next level?
Then this is the channel for you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. The greatest place to be on a Tuesday night with us, the Couple on Fire. I'm Josh, and I'm here with the always gorgeously beautiful Miss Christy.
Hello.
How are you, love?
I'm good.
You are good.
Mm-hmm.
You are good. Please, if you would, for us, please hit the share button. It helps us reach all the edges of Facebook, and we'd really appreciate that. So, on today's episode, we want to talk about something that Christy brought up the other day. She saw a video, and we're going to get into that, but she saw a video, and it really kind of sparked up some juices within her, and she was like, ooh, yeah, let's talk about, you're like, yeah.
That's right.
So she's like, let's talk about, really about motivation and our purpose, and, how do we stay motivated, with our purpose? How do we, in what ways can we, and I think that's a good thing. Like, how can we figure it out? What's Mark saying? Getting out of the shower and Alexa is like, this is your reminder, Couple on Fire podcast. I'm like, no, hurry. As long as your camera's not on, you can do it. You can do it in the shower, dude. It's all good. We don't mind. It's all good. Welcome, Mark. You're hilarious. We're adding that right onto the screen because that's funny.
Yeah.
So, how to use your purpose to keep you motivated. And, it's funny because, depending on where you are in life, maybe you know what your purpose is, maybe you don't. We don't really want to dive in too much about, how to find your purpose. And I really would like to dedicate a show to that.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's an entire episode all on its own. But for today, though, we really want to talk about, how can we stay motivated? When we do find a purpose, how do we keep ourselves completely motivated? So
I want to do one that on purpose now. My brain's all going all over that now. Like I already have ideas.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good. We'll do that. We actually have a really cool episode coming up next week, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Also,
we have a famous person.
Famous. So, real quick, too, that, Christy and I had the honor of hosting our very first event a few weeks ago, Perfectly Blended. And, something that we'd really like to do is we really want to be able to help other blended families connect with each other in their own church community. So, for free, if you're in Michigan, we want to be able to come to your church. So, perfectlyblendedevent.com. If you go on there and hit, I think there's a button on the very top of it. I think I put a button on the top.
I was going to say, you should know you created it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. You can send us some information, if you want us to get in contact with you, and we would really love to come and just be able to have an opportunity to present to your church, the blended families, and really help make a strong community out of that. So, perfectlyblendedevent.com. Okay, before we get started today, do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't, because every time you ask me that, I start talking about all the points. That's the stuff that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to jump ahead, so I don't want to.
All right, so let's just dive right in. All right, dive right in. Here we go. Number one, are you a lion or a gazelle?
Yes. Okay, so this is what sparked me wanting to talk about this. I have not been taking my own flippin' advice. So I know a lot of you who know me know that I love the quote by Zig Ziglar that says, people say that motivation doesn't last, and we say, well, neither does bathing. That's why you should do it daily. And what that means is you need to watch something motivational, read something motivational, do something motivational every single day that's going to inspire you and get your thought juices flowing and really just pump you up. And I haven't been doing that every day like I should. I get up and I am praying and I'm, reading my Bible and I'm reading things like that. But actually watching a motivational video pumps, seriously gets my adrenaline going. And we at my work, we recently started with the team, each of us taking turns each week on someone picking a motivational video that they find and they send it out to the team. And this week it was Miranda's turn to send it out, and she sent out this video. Josh is going to put the link down in the comments sometime during this podcast.
I will.
And I watched it, and it's 5 or 6 minutes. We didn't want to play the whole thing today. That's why he's going to put the link down in the comments. But it really got me really pumped up. I actually started getting teary-eyed about it because it just got me so motivated to be like, don't lose your focus. Don't lose your purpose, on it. And the thing about it is you can't use your purpose to keep you motivated on its own. You have to be doing something every day to keep you motivated towards that. Watching a video, doing these things. And in this video, it's Eric Thomas. He talks about, are you a lion or a gazelle? And it's such an awesome video because he is like, I was watching this video about a lion and a gazelle, and I'm studying and studying and studying. And what are the similarities and what are the differences between a lion and gazelle? Both of them wake up every day and they run. Both of them run, run, run. Those are the similarities. But the differences are the gazelle's running out of fear or because something's chasing it. And when it's not thinking it's going to die, or when something isn't actively chasing it and it's not feeling that sense or presence, it stops and is just standing there and being like, not caring about anything. If it doesn't have a reward, like it's not dying, then it's not running. And the lion wakes up every day and he starts running because he's hungry and because he knows that he has to do it to feed his family and feed himself and feed. He's not running because he thinks he's going to die. He's not running out of fear. He's running because he must. And that's the difference of it. Like, I'm hungry. I'm desiring this. I have to do this to provide. And it's the video. He says it way better than me. And Josh put the link down in the comments. Don't leave and go watch it now. Okay. It's 6 minutes long. Jeez. Wait until the end.
Right.
But it is such a good video. It really got me pumped up. I started crying. I got so emotional about it in a good way. Like, yeah, like, let's go. And you have to do stuff like that every single day.
Yeah, I think the big misconception is people think you're either born a lion or born a gazelle. And that's absolutely incorrect. That's untrue. Being a lion or being a gazelle is really, it's a mindset. It's a choice. You have to wake up every day with saying, you know what, today I'm going to choose to pursue. I'm not going to choose to just run away from, right? We can spend so much time just trying to run away from pain. And you know what we end up doing when we just try to run away from the pain? We run into things that cause comfort, just like the gazelle, right? Hides in the bushes and just relaxes. And sooner or later, the lion's going to find you. Like, that's the truth of it. And so that's what I love so much about this analogy is that, you know, it's so easy for us to get up and just go to work and pay our bills and just wait for the weekend to be able to go out and then, you know, maybe go get drunk or just, you know, just go do all the stupid things that's just self-rewarding in the moment. And it's just for us to just evade the everyday monotony. Or we can wake up every day and say, you know what? I know what my God-given purpose is on this earth, and I'm going to spend every waking moment pursuing that. I'm going to chase it down because I have a hunger for it. You know, I want to do exactly what God has placed in my heart, and I'm going to push every ounce of myself to pursue doing that. I am going to treat myself like I'm starving. And I love, like, you know, what Eric Thomas has another video he's famous for, and he talks about, you know, you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And he talks about, you know, being pushed underwater. You know, and what's your desire at that time? The only thing you care about when you're underwater is getting a breath, you know, is getting air in your lungs. And it's, you know, how are we waking up every day and looking at our purpose for that day? You know, what is our purpose? And that should be our motivation alone right there. Christy says we have to wake up every single day. We have to make sure that it's an everyday thing. Well, it's a mindset. We need to wake up on purpose every single day. You're either a lion or a gazelle, and it's your choice.
Mm-hmm. I think you need to play that video at Celebrate Recovery.
Yeah, I can.
It's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's powerful. And he is a very animated speaker anyway. If you don't know him, he starts off almost every video. He's like, it's your boy E.T. And he's like super animated. He did go to Michigan State University, which makes him extremely brilliant, which, you know, it's nice too as well. Anyway, but he has a great story, right? He calls himself the hip hop preacher. And, you know, he's been down a long road, but has a special gift of just motivating and inspiring people to not just want more, but to do more. And that's really what this episode is about, is really taking your purpose and how do I keep motivated towards that purpose. It's hard. Watch your mouth, ma'am. It is never go that color ever, 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 ever. I'm not putting it on the screen. I'm not liking it. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
man.
so it's important that we find our purpose, right? We talked about, we had this conference about blended families and we have all these struggles and stuff, but ultimately what pushes us, it's our desire to serve and honor God with our lives. And what is that thing that we have, that special thing that God gave us? I was really on fire after this week, after our pastor preached, and it really spoke to me big. And it's just like Christy said, I need to be more on fire for what our purpose is on this planet. God has given us each something very unique and individual. What is it that we're pushing towards every day for that?
Yeah, and if you don't know, let's just say you get up every day and you're going to work right now and you're just like, there has got to be more to life than this. You still need to watch motivational videos to keep you pumped up and going to find what really gets your juices flowing. Like to keep you motivated to take on the day and to tackle the day and to love God and make a difference in people's lives. I mean, you need to do these things. And I don't like that some people think that if you're a Christian, it's only like Christian motivational, devotional things. That's not true. We can find value in secular stuff. And Eric Thomas, I mean, some of the things do have language. This video doesn't. I don't like cussing. It takes away from the effect for me. It doesn't do that for everybody. I know Tony Robbins, in some of his things that he does, he says the F word, and he says, I only say it, because it shocks the person's attention. I think it's stupid. I don't think Tony Robbins is stupid. I think saying that you have to use profanity to get your point across, I think that's stupid. And so I don't usually share videos or talk about videos that have cussing in them because I think it takes away from the purpose.
Eric Thomas's doesn't, though. None of his stuff does.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, none of his stuff does.
I've watched a few of his things, and I don't remember there ever being. No. But like Gary Vaynerchuk, I like watching some of his stuff. He can be very profane.
He can be foul.
Yeah. So, but it's important to do these things every day. If you're like, well, I don't know what my purpose is, so I'm just not going to watch anything. Well, that's dumb. I mean, you still need to watch stuff to keep you motivated.
Yeah, I tell the guys that Celebrate Recovery every week, I'm like, it's really important. Like, I wake up every single day, Monday through Friday, okay? Saturdays and Sundays are a little bit different, but Monday through Friday.
Those are cheat days.
Those are the cheat days, right? No motivation on those days. No, those days, are days when Monday through Friday, I get in the shower and I have a little phone holder in there and I always play something that is inspiring to me. Always inspiring to me. Like, I got to get something that in my ears, in my eyes, that's pushing me beyond. Because if we're relying on ourselves to be our own self-motivation, you're not always going to feel like being motivated. Mm-mm. And you can't. So when you get into a routine of it, you can really push yourself that extra little bit that you need. And earlier in the day, the better. Wake up being the lion. Don't wake up saying, you know what, I'm going to be the gazelle in the morning, and then later in the afternoon, I'll be the lion, or I need my coffee before I can be the lion. No, that's right. We need to get a cup that says that. But, I think it's important, though, that we understand where our motivation can come from. It can't come from just within. We have to create something that's going to put us in a position to where we can be motivated, and it has to be every day.
And I don't want to get off on a rabbit trail here, but I don't know how many times in any of our podcasts that you've watched that I talk about self-awareness. It was such a huge awakening for me to be able to speak hard truths to myself and talk to myself about how I actually am. And if you're pushing yourself, if you're one of those people that you're pushing yourself to the point of burnout, then when you wake up in the morning, you need to find a motivational video that's encouraging you to take a day. To take a break, to rest, your brain does need a day of rest. It needs water. It needs sleep. It needs those things. So if you're to the point where you're just like, oh, another day where I'm watching this and your eyes are all bloodshot and you look like Ren and Stimpy. I don't know if you remember that cartoon, but you're like,
showing your age.
Yes. Yes. You need to watch a motivational video that's encouraging you not to judge yourself and to take a flipping day off, a mental break, a mental health day. If you're a person that's lazy and you're telling yourself every day is a mental health day, then you need to watch a video to encourage you to get off your butt and do something that you're passionate about to serve others. You have to be self-aware of yourself.
So true. Yeah, a lot of times too, what I'll do is I'll watch, not just go on YouTube and look for motivational videos, but I also type in a keyword of whatever that I feel like I need to be inspired about.
Like Bible verses.
And a
it's
sermon.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'll find a
Yes.
sermon that, that somebody by a trusted pastor that I know that's online. I'll find something from this pastor and I'll listen to a message. And I'm like, man, this is really, it's what I needed today, because we don't need to wait for Sunday morning for our pastor to preach to us. Like, we got to have our trusted, who we trust in. But at the same time, it's like, I know when I need something, just like Christy said, like self-awareness is so important, and understanding ourselves and being honest with ourselves when it comes to being motivated. What is it that I need today? Okay, well, it is so simple to hop on YouTube and type in something and then type motivation after it or sermon after it, and you'd be surprised about how much stuff can come up, and then you could start getting motivated in those ways. I mean, what's the part in the Bible where you can look up keywords?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot now. I don't remember.
Oh man,
I've always been able to remember it for you, and now you put me on the spot.
Yeah, sorry. So anyway, there's something in the front or in the back of the Bible.
Concordance.
The concordance. I knew you'd remember. You can look in the concordance too, right? And you can find supporting Bible verses that can encourage your heart, right? Encourage your mind. And then what you can do even further from that is, I'm really taking this one deep, but you can take what you find in the concordance and you can read about it. And then you can look that verse up on YouTube and type in sermon after it and find a sermon that's actually been talked about on that specific verse. And I think there's so much power in that. I just think there's so much power in it.
Yeah. Pump you up.
Right. All right. So are you done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. We're moving on to number 2. Number 2, you don't have to go it alone.
Yes. And this is so, so, so important that you have to be able to, we are more comfortable as creatures doing something together. Yes, there's people that are trailblazers and they go out and they're the weirdos that like attention and all this stuff. That's what I like to tell myself. But if you think about it, like very successful churches like Stephen Furtick, and I know some people don't like Stephen Furtick, and that's okay. You can have your own opinion about stuff. But he started a very successful church, Elevation, and they've planted multiple churches. But if you watched his documentary, watched his story, it wasn't just him and his wife that just sold everything, went off on their own, planted a church. Yeah. They had a couple of their best friend couples that went and did it with them. And we feel more safe in community. We do. So it's like, okay, so how can I connect with people that are motivating? Say you want to write a book. Okay, what are you doing then? Like, who are you connecting with that consistently is writing books or is trying to write their book or motivated? So you could say, hey, I wrote a chapter today, or I wrote a paragraph today. What are you doing and who are you connecting with to go do things together? Yeah. It's what, Josh has shared about it on one of our other podcasts where a guy went on The View or something. I don't like that show, so whatever. Those women are idiots. But
tell me how you feel.
He went on that show though, and they're all overweight women, and they were all like, "Oh, tell us what you're gonna do. We're gonna get on this diet together." And he's like, "No offense, but you're all." He didn't say it like this, but he's basically saying you're all fat. Okay, you're not gonna motivate each other to lose weight when you're all motivating each other basically to stay fat at this point. Like, each of you need to get with a person that's fit, because that person will challenge you to get fit. Yeah. And we don't like to be challenged. We don't, especially when we know it's something that we need to improve upon. But when we actually sit back and embrace what we need to improve upon, like when I sit and say out loud to myself, I don't like to be corrected. I don't like to be told the areas that I need to improve upon, but I need to. I need someone to tell me those things. And once I embrace that, and I embrace the suck, and I embrace the uncomfortableness, and I'm like, yes, I do need this. Yes, I don't like it, but I need it. It's like you're psychologically open up to the growth. And then you want to be around those people that challenge you. You want to be like, I want people to post on Facebook the serving that they've went out and done. It challenges me to do it. Like, oh man, I haven't. When's the last time I've served? When's the last time I went out and gave to a homeless guy? When's the last time I went out and served at, Eastern Michigan Food Bank? I haven't lately. That person's making me want to. I want that challenge. It's uncomfortable, but we need it or we're never going to grow.
No, I agree. And it's just like Cassie says, right? Challenge us to be better, right? Period. Challenge us to be better. We have to put ourselves in uncomfortable positions to do that though, because I'm going to bring up a water quote, okay? Because it's something that I like to do. You know me. I like water quotes.
He loves, And he didn't even realize it until I pointed it out to him.
She pointed it out to me, which was super helpful. So, right. So I say emotional waters seek their own level. So when we're in a position, we find other people that's going to reassure us and make us feel good about who we are and where we're at. We should always want people that are kind and loving, but we should always want people around us that are going to challenge us. Example. Okay. When Christy and I started and we decided, you know what, we really want to move in the direction of helping blended families, like couples of blended families. Like that's really what we have a heart for. But we know 0 people that do it. We know 0 people that want to do it the way that we want to do it. We know nobody, right? We know 0 people. So what we did is we pushed ourselves outside of our comfort zone, decided to go to a marriage conference, and then we got to meet the people that were running the marriage conference, and we had them on our podcast, and they're awesome people. We went and had dinner at their house. We got to meet them on a deeper level, and then they were able to be part of this last event that we did, the very first event. Why? Because they have been where we want to go, and that's who we need to be around, people that understand and that have been where we're trying to go. And we have to be challenged by that because we don't always know what we don't know. So it's important that we look at the community of people around it. You can't do this thing alone. Whatever your purpose is, you cannot do it alone. We thought we could for a long time. We're like, okay, the way that we've grown up and stuff, we feel like we're on an island of our own. Like, okay, we just have to do this ourselves. And it's just untrue. And we didn't move. Nothing, the needle didn't move for a long time because of that. Until we understood, like, we can't do this alone, that's when God really started using everybody else around it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, what are you looking for, babe?
Nothing. I'm making myself a note so I don't forget. I always do.
Oh.
You're talking about something and it sparks an idea in my head and I never write it down and then I forget. And then if you watch the podcast, I'll be staring at him while he's talking and you can see it in my eyes. I'm not hearing anything that he's saying. I'm like, what did I just think of? Oh, crap. And I'm like trying to remember and I don't.
No.
It's frustrating.
No, but it's important that we understand the power in looking at our circle. And if we are the top person in our circle, okay, and you know what I mean without me saying it, okay? I'm not talking about intelligence or finances. I'm not talking about all that. I mean, you understand your social circle. If you're the top person in that, then you're in the wrong circle. We have to put ourselves, if we really want to be motivated and challenged to push us to the next, we have to look at our circle and say, okay, I need a couple new members in this to push me. And that's for our good. And find out, is this person in the direction that I want to go for my purpose? That's why Christian community is so good, right? We want to be around people that have the same moral value, that have the value that says, I want to honor and glorify God with my life. I want to make sure that I surround myself more with people like that.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a big sigh, so I wasn't sure if you were ready to roll out.
No, he brought up the Perfectly Blended event about Jay and Laura. And what we can do as humans is Josh and I he put a lot more than me in time and energy in developing the content and things like that. But we put a lot of time and energy into the Perfectly Blended. We did step out in faith. We were very scared, and when you do that with any project in your life, it's like you finally get to it and you get to it and you do it and you're just like, At that moment, a lot of us don't want feedback from someone that's better or been doing it for us because we get really defensive. Like, we just completed this. We don't want to hear it. But it's really important to be open to that while it's fresh. Like that day, Jay and Laura were there. We took that opportunity to really be excited. Like, yeah, we did all this. Yes, we were up there. Please tell us where we looked dumb. Please tell us, like, where we need to fine tune it, because it's really important to us that this community of people that we're trying to bring together, that they find value in this information that we're giving. We're not up there for us. We're up there because we want people to know that God loves them. We want people to go to God. We want people to put God at the center. And if we're doing something up there to detour from that, or we come across looking dumb, or we come across where we did something to take away from giving God the glory, we want that feedback. Yeah. And you have to it's where your heart is at for that. So I wanted to make sure, because Jay and Laura gave us immediate feedback, and it was great. It was awesome that they did that. So
real quick though, because they were awesome about it though. They actually asked us if it was okay if they did.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and I appreciated that. Yeah. Yes, of course, yes.
So I did want to bring up, Josh was talking about being like the smartest person in the room. And it was so funny because at one of my previous jobs, I remember this guy that had worked for the company for like 20 years or something. And he was one of the top salespeople. He was like a diamond person, all this stuff. He would come in occasionally, visit the office. Great guy, you know, just warm, loving guy. And I have a quote that's hanging, and I've taken it to every office that I've been in, that it's The Rock. And it says, always try to be the most humble and hardest working person in the room. And it's funny because this guy came in there and he read that quote and he's just like, I'd want to be the smartest person in the room, you know? And then someone else walked in and he goes, hey, I was just telling her that I'd want to be the smartest person in the room. And I'm thinking, and I didn't say anything because I want to respect my elders. But I was thinking to myself, like, that's really sad, actually. I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to bring value. I want to be a person of value that I bring to the room, but I want to also be able to learn from the room that I'm sitting in. Mm-hmm. And because we've never reached the point where we don't have anything to learn. So if you're in a room where of people, or you're in a circle of influence that's never teaching you anything and you're never finding any value in it for yourself, you're in the wrong room. You may need to ask yourself, why am I in this circle? Am I here because I want to be the smartest person? I never want anybody to challenge me. I never want anybody to make me feel stupid. Is that the reason why you're there? You have to be okay with looking stupid sometimes and not knowing everything. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. I love what Brene Brown said in her Call to Courage, or I think it's Call to Courage on Netflix, where she's like, I'm so in love with myself at this point, I'm almost dangerous. And I love that she says that. I'm not that way. And I want to get to that point where it's like, I'm so in love with me, like not prideful sense, but I'm so okay with who I am and where I'm at and what my body looks like and where I'm at with intelligence, that I could go into any room and be okay with someone teaching me something. Maybe the hateful trolls on Facebook wouldn't bother me a bit because they obviously need to do that to make themselves feel better. I love that. So you shouldn't try to be the smartest person in the room. And then the last thing. See, I wrote down 3 things.
No, good. Fire off, girl. They're good. These are good.
Thank you for the encouragement.
You're the smartest person in the room right now.
Oh my gosh, Joshua Michael. Something I wanted to bring up. So we just got today. So talking about blended families, you know, I'm kind of irritated. So we just got today. My son, my oldest biological son, is graduating school this year. And we just got today from Davison Schools that they want to follow CDC guidelines, even though the graduation is going to be outside, that each senior only gets 2 tickets. So
for guests.
For guests. So what does that say to blended families? What does that say to step parents? What does that say? So, and this isn't even in the Christian community. This is in the secular world. So I think this is why it's so needed for blended families. We want to specifically, you know, do for Christian blended families because we are Christians and a lot of people in the secular world aren't going to want to follow biblical principles. So that's the whole point of why we want to do Christian blended families. But overall, step families are just pushed to the side. They're a second thought. They're not even thought of. So it's like now my son is graduating school, COVID. Even though the graduation's outside, he only gets 2 tickets. It should be, they get tickets for however many parents they have in their life. However many parents. Some kids are being raised by 2 sets of grandparents. So they have 4. Some people are being raised by 3 people, like my son. He has his dad. He has me. He has his stepdad. And he would need 3 tickets. So what's that saying? Oh, the stepdad isn't important, even though he's lived with us 100% of the time. Yeah. And he's only went to his dad's every other weekend for maybe 5 or 6 years of that. And he's the one he's lived with him the majority of the time. So now he just doesn't get to come. It's that stuff to me blows my mind that even the schools don't, even in the secular world, don't think about that. I sent an email to the school and I know they're not going to care, but it's like, so what does that mean for the kids that are in step families? Like, oh, you want to make the kid choose now? Sorry. You know, my dad has to come. He's my biological dad, but the man that has been raised me, you know, the majority of the time in my life, he can't come because I can't choose him. And I get heated about stuff like this. I just get really heated because, of course, I want my child's father to come. I'm not saying he can't come, but then you're putting in the kids in a predicament. So anyway, I've gotten completely off point.
I don't even know what that has to do with what we're talking about, but it's true.
Blended families.
It does. And it is unfair.
You brought it up.
It is unfair. Yeah, thank you, Cassie. That is super sweet to you say that. You know, it is it's tough. You know, it's blended families does bring their own special challenges, right? And that's why this market needs to be it needs to be covered so much. It needs support and help and things of that nature. But
you brought up blended families
to get it back on track though.
It's fresh. I just got the email today.
Is you don't have to go it alone, and I think this is a perfect thing to tie in with that. Is that look already everyone on here is like, you know what, I'm really sorry for that, Christy. It's I'm going to pray for you guys. That's because we don't have to go it alone. We don't have to be part of any of this alone, and that's and being part of this does make you feel a lot of alone, right? It does. It honestly does. So
stupid school.
Stupid school. Anyway,
Davison schools, write them a letter.
we're gonna blast them with
it's not until June 7th, so.
They don't even keep track of how many people come to the sporting events, right? I know, right? But graduation, it's something special. I don't know. Well, we all have opinions about this whole COVID thing and about all that stuff. It's wild all the way around. All the way around. It's like everybody's like, let's get our COVID gloves out and fight everybody. All right, for the last point, number three is progress, not perfection.
Yeah. I saw a quote the other day that said,
Jason says go cards. Dude, seriously, you're hilarious to me.
Says practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And I really like that.
Ooh.
So
Ooh, I like that.
I know. I really like that too. And so we always want to be working for progress, and since Josh and I did a vision board, we had a vision party.
Vision board party.
Yep, this past December, and we're going to do another one again this coming December. Oh no, we did it after the new year. It was like February.
Yeah.
So we want to do it in December. But when it's progress, not perfection, it's like, what type of goal setting are you doing for yourself to stay motivated? There's a book, I don't know, you might remember the book, that says you just need to try to be 1% better every day. And it's just such a small amount. But if you do that 365 days a year, you'll be 365% better by the end of the year. And it's like, if you're sitting back thinking like, I want to be a better parent, and maybe, I know some people may disagree with this analogy, I don't care. Maybe you're saying, I'd love to be able to take my kids to Disney World. It's a thing that they'll be able to do. But then you don't ever set a goal. You don't ever say, okay, how much are the tickets to Disney? How much are the plane tickets? Let's sit down and budget our funds and then figure out how much we could put away so it doesn't financially hurt us each month, and then have a set date that you're going to purchase those tickets. That's actually saying, I want to make progress. I want to make progress in this goal, and not just say, yeah, I'm going to lose weight someday. I'm that person. I am going to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight someday. Okay, what am I doing to lose weight? What am I doing? Am I drinking more water? I get up every day and tell myself I'm going to drink 64 ounces of water. Do I?
And you drink between 6 to 4 ounces of water.
That's not true.
No, you drink a lot more.
I drink like 50.
50?
Two
of these big.
These are 26 ounces.
Okay.
And I drink at least 2 of those a day. But
all right.
You need to put goals into action.
That's 52, girl.
She's like eating
chocolate cake. Reminds me of Bill
Dad
Cosby.
Makes cake. We're eating chocolate cake. Yes,
Right.
Dad is great. That's what
Dad is great. Yep.
He gives us chocolate cake.
Good old Bill Cosby.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm going to be transparent about something, okay? And we're talking about progress, not perfection.
Uh-oh. This is scary.
So it's really funny, right? So it's easy for us to be able to pick ourselves apart on certain things. So Christy's all like, that's how I am about weight. But what she's not like that with, she'll never tell you, is paying bills, okay? Christy is amazing at paying bills, okay? And this is the reason why. Is we had some bills stack up. And then she's like, okay, we really need to pay on these things. So I called the place and I'm like, okay, we'll pay $10 a month on this. And I'm like, why even bother at that point? She's like, no, we'll pay $10 a month. We'll pay 10. And she ended up, after like a couple years, she got all of them paid off. All of them paid off. And I'm just like, man, that is impressive to me, because I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, no, I'm either paying it or I'm not paying it. Like, that's just how it is. And she's not that way. It's about the progress, right? And then she's like, keeps them. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. She keeps the bills that got paid off in her purse because it makes her
They're not in my
feel
purse
good.
no more.
Well, you just took them out not too long ago.
Yeah.
It has been a while.
They're in one of our drawers.
It has been a while since they've been
The stack of bills. Okay, if someone comes over my house, I can show them to you. Because it was collections and stuff. We were really hard up for years. Okay, our family struggled a lot. We'll include that in our next Perfectly Blended event. Be coming, a lot of fun. Okay, but it's like this thick of collections and all the stuff that we had, and I put them in order of smallest to largest, and I started paying them off.
She did like $5 or $10 a month. I'm like, what? It's like we're sponsoring a kid in Ethiopia. I'm like, what are we doing? No, but it worked. That's the whole point, right? It's not about perfection. It's about progress, right? And it gets us to the goal we need to get to, no matter how small it is. And that's what motivation is. Every day, like, we don't have to take big steps every day. Some days we'll take big steps. Other days, it's just getting out of bed, okay, is motivation enough. Like, we have to push ourselves. Like, we have to step up. We have to do the things that are necessary to motivate us, to keep us going in the forward direction, because there is no sitting still. We're either falling backwards or moving forwards, and that's just the truth of it. So how are we and what are we doing to help keep ourselves in this motivated state? First off, don't be so hard on yourself to think that you have to be perfect at everything that you're doing. It's progress. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, and that's it. And that can get frustrating for a season, but you have to stick to it, because whatever it is that we're putting in, the work we're putting in this season will pay off next season. That's what the Bible tells us about planting the seeds, right? It's how the seasons work. And we have to trust in the process of what it is. Like, whatever our purpose is, we have to trust that God's going to give us what we need, and we have to stay motivated by doing the things that are necessary. Not expecting perfection from ourselves is a huge, huge thing. It's a big problem with me. I will nitpick something completely to death that I'm creating. I'm a creative person. I do, for our event, I created all the graphics. I created most of the video stuff. I did all the booklet that we created. I did all of it. And I'm telling you what, people liked it, right? But I probably over nitpicked it, okay? Because I was constantly trying to make it perfect, where my time could have been used elsewhere in a much healthier way, and it would have created, and it caused me to really get super frustrated at times.
What I was going to say though, too, is Josh said sometimes it's 4 steps forward and 3 steps back or something like that. Sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. And those are the times that community is so important, because it's right now, with if you have a place that there's entry level positions, you are short staffed. And a lot of those people are getting overworked, and it's frustrating because no one wants to go to work because our government is giving away tons of free money and most people want to just sit on their butts. So it can be very frustrating when you're just like, okay, we got 10 people on the books this week that we're going to hire, and then 1 person shows up out of the 10. And when it's continuously, like, you never see a light at the end of the tunnel, or some people are like, or the light at the end of the tunnel is a train coming directly at you. You need to have a community of people that you can call when you're just like, I just want to give up. I'm done.
That's it, Jason, for exactly what you said.
And
that's it.
It's like, okay, tell me what you're feeling.
Yep.
And why do you want to be done? Do you need a day? Have you gotten enough sleep? Have you drank enough water? Have you been eating regularly? Go out into nature.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a huge difference for me.
Massive.
Go outside and take a walk, take a couple deep breaths, or just stand there and look at the sky and look around. Are you seriously needing someone to say, okay, yeah, you failed at this one. You really sucked it up. But what steps did you take? What did you learn? And when you regroup, what can you do differently moving forward? You have a lesson out of it. So what can you learn from out of it? Sometimes, if you're like me, sometimes I just need to spend a day in bed. Like, if I'm really, 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 like, I've allowed myself to get to the point where there is no hope. Like, no one's going to talk to me. They're not going to talk. Like, no. I need to close up my blackout curtains that I have in my bedroom. I need to shut all my doors. I need to get all cozy, lay in the middle of my bed with all my pillows on and behind me. And then I need to watch a couple movies in bed and just be like, this is so great. And I need that sometimes. Other times it's like the last thing I need to do is close myself up in a dark room. Yep. I need to go outside and look at the sky and start being so thankful and grateful that I'm alive, and thank God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you that I have people that I can call. Gratefulness goes such a long way. And when you really stop and say, when's the last time I really thanked God and made a list of things that I can be thankful for? That will be huge, because I guarantee you don't do it enough. I know that I don't. And it's like you can make a huge list of stuff that you can thank God for. Huge.
Yeah, so I want to toss this on the screen real quick. Something that Jason said. Says, so what's the way to keep it? I find myself making progress, but then I get in the rut and say, why even bother? It's because what's happening is you're still relying on yourself for the motivation. That goes right back to the second one. You don't have to do it alone. You got to find somebody that you're talking to once a week, once every 2 weeks. Depends on your needs, right? And the problem is most of us, especially Christians, we have a hard time reaching out to other people because we don't want to be a burden on them. Right? We need to understand that that's not what other people are. When we had this event and everybody came around to help and stuff, I felt like it was a burden on everybody else. And I know Christy did too. And every single person reassured us, no, we want to be doing this. And it really gave us a perspective of like, okay, people want us to lean on them. So find the person, Jason. Call me, dude. You got my phone number. Call me. Let's talk it through. What is it that you're struggling with? Why is your motivation sinking? What's going on? Let's work through it. Let's inspire each other, because we cannot do this alone. It's impossible. You can't. You'll get frustrated. You'll give up. It's a guarantee. Like it's how it goes. And we have to, a lot of times we have to learn the hard way. We just do. Truth. I don't reach out because of the exact statement. Keep to myself. Yes, exactly. We don't want to be a burden on other people. It's because we've allowed ourselves to feel that way, or other people have made us feel that way. Well, it's just not true. It's just not true.
Well, and it's a lot of times men though too do
Very
feel,
much
because
pride.
Men look at it as it's weakness, and it's I think it's harder for men because they're raised from when you guys are little boys to not cry, to not ask for help, to not ask for directions, like you need to be tough at all times. And that's why I think I love the community of people that Josh is trying to create with guys to be vulnerable. The vulnerability is where courage comes from, because that's the only true time that we can grow. And a true testament to a person that wants to grow and wants to encourage other people is to learn how to be vulnerable. Jesus was vulnerable wherever he went. He had a servant's heart, and no, he didn't ever need to ask for help, but he still had 12 people around him, because he knew he needed them to spread the gospel once he was gone. And it's very, very important. Very, very important for a community. Yeah. Women need help too, because women think that they're never doing enough. And I'm not saying that men don't struggle with that. Men mainly struggle with internalizing things because they don't want to ask for help, because they don't want to appear to be weak. Women always are saying, like, I have so many things that I need to do. Be a good mom, be a good friend. Like, we're psycho compared to men. Men think we're psycho for a reason, because we have 50. I was just talking about this at Celebrate Recovery, and it was like, oh my gosh, like, I need to shave my legs. I need to work out. I got to have good calves. I got to have a good butt. I got to have good hair. I got to go, I got to get my eyebrows waxed. I got to put makeup on. It's like, I need to be intelligent. I need to be tall. I need to be like all of this stuff. And then I had the girls laughing because I'm like, oh, I got to do Kegels. I forgot all about Kegels, and everyone starts laughing. But it's like with women, it's like, I got to be a good mom. I got to be a good friend. I got to, dress nice. It's got to whiten my teeth. I need to tan. It goes on and on and on and on. And you need people to smack you back in and just be like, just be you and have fun and smile and be grateful and stop taking yourself so seriously. I know I need to tell myself that all the time. Lighten up. Be more flexible.
That's the perfection problem, though.
Yeah.
We're always seeking after somebody's, our ideal of what perfection is for us. Now, it may not be like you picture a specific other person. You just feel like these are a bunch of things that you need to be better at.
Yeah.
And that's why progress is important. That's why leaning on a good, healthy community is important. That's why it's like, hey, you are enough. That's why being supportive to your spouse is so important. Stopping, and I had an opportunity to share with Christy this last weekend, about some stuff that I'm struggling with. But then I turned around and I made sure to let her know some stuff that, over our last 10 years of being together, that she's given me. It's strengthened me. It's given me. And that is a vulnerable thing, especially for a guy, to say, hey, I've been weak in this area. And because of you, you've given me something that's strengthened me personally. And doing that is something that's helping encourage her. It's giving her motivation, it's something she's given me. And I don't keep that for myself. It's an unfair thing. And I want this relationship to be healthy, and I want my wife to be healthy. I want my wife to feel like the queen she is. Like, she's a boss, okay? Like, if you don't know her, you should, okay? I'm just saying, right? And that's what it is about, though, right? Like, I want her to feel what she's doing. Everything that she's doing doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Like, she is perfectly put together the way that she is, but I don't want her to quit trying. I want her to still put in the work every day. I want her to wake up and know that she is a lion. Like, my wife is a lion, and I want her to know that. Like, I don't want her to make her feel a position where she's a gazelle and she can just sit and not have to work towards anything else in her life. No. Because that's not who she is. That's not who God designed her. And God has given her a purpose. And I want her to continue to reach for that, because that's where that peace of God comes into our hearts. And that's where that motivation will still burn at its brightest spots.
Here's two of the hardest things for me with when it comes to embracing the suck type of thing. Okay, it's my body, eating healthier, and I don't expect to look like a supermodel. I want to.
Well, you do.
I love you. Oh, so cute. I just want to be comfortable, in my own skin. I want to sit and when I sit down, not have my jeans get lost in 2 fat rolls. And then, you take your jeans off and it still looks like you have your jeans wrapped around your waist, type of thing. It's like the jeans are off. Like, I don't need to have the button mark still on my stomach, type of thing. And then the other thing is singing, right? Like, I love to sing. Singing has opened up my heart to God and to worship in such a way. And this past weekend, I had been asked to sing at someone's funeral, and I have never sang at someone's funeral before. And I went back through and I listened to it because it was live streamed, which was a mistake because I didn't know that it was. And Josh told me that it was. And so I went back through and listened to it, and I really was beating myself up about it, because I'm like, I really sounded bad because my voice was shaking so bad. I was almost crying. I was super nervous. I wanted to do Tim justice. Tim was one of my biggest fans when it came to singing. And he was one of my biggest encouragers from day one being on the worship team. He encouraged me so much to embrace me and embrace my voice. I sing so loud and I sing so different than a lot of other people. I'm a loud person, so my singing voice obviously is naturally louder and more full. I don't know how to describe it.
Like Aretha Franklin.
But he really encouraged me to embrace it. And I really wanted to do the song justice for him, and I really don't feel like I did. I'm going to start crying about it. But you have to embrace the way that it turned out, Like, I prayed before I went up there and I said, I want to sing the way that God wanted me to sing. And I did. And I don't want to cry.
Yeah, but you honored him in the way that he asked you to, and it was uncomfortable for you. And
it was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
And you pushed yourself, even though you were afraid it wasn't going to turn out the way that you thought it was.
And it didn't.
And in your heart and in your ears, you don't think that it did, but I disagree.
Okay.
Right? And I think that's what it's about, though. It's about progress. It's about pushing ourselves.
Yeah, I wish I could have backed out. And I know that I don't now. Yeah. But I'm saying before we were going to do it, I'm like, I don't want to. We need to just say I have diarrhea and we need to go home. like I was so nervous.
The squirts have arrived. I gotta go.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous because he loved the way that I sang. He everybody has their own tone that they hear that they absolutely love. I have my own tone of singers that when I hear them, I don't know, I just love it. And my tone to him, he absolutely loved. And he told me that all the time. And I really appreciated him. And Mark's been another one of those people for me. Like, always been encouraging from day one.
Yeah, look what Jason said. He goes, "You make me cry when you sing every time." Mm-hmm. And if you haven't been to our church and you haven't had an opportunity to hear Christy sing, okay, it's not even so much just how she sounds, and she sounds incredible, but it's how she praises and honors and worships God as she's singing. That's what gets everybody. And that, to me, is a purpose God has given her, and she's honoring him in doing so. It's something that really speaks to her, but because it speaks to her and her doing it to the fullest, it speaks to other people. And I think that's what the blessing is. I mean, when we look at motivation, we got to look at not just what gets us going, but what is it that God's trying to do through us? Yeah. You know, what is it that God's really trying to, he's given us a special talent, something in our heart that's special to us that he wants to just pour through that spot, you know? And it's really easy for us to be a critic. And I think Cassie said something about being a critic. Yeah, we are our own worst critics, but that's the enemy trying to keep us at bay and saying, wait a minute, I'm not going to allow you to honor God. I want you to feel bad about yourself. So you can't honor him with this thing that's so special to you, you know? And, you know, I'm going to brag about her just for a second because she really likes it when I do that because it makes her uncomfortable. But
it does. And I noticed that I never thought I was a person that turned red. And I've seen it now a few times on this podcast when he talks about me. My cheeks actually turn red. And I don't like it.
Don't make me forget what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
So I think I may have even forgot. But I think the point is,
You're going to brag about me for a second.
No, I know. Oh, so yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So when she does go to worship band practice, on the Saturday, so she'll sing on a Sunday. So that's the Saturday before they have worship band practice at the church. My wife gets up like 2 hours early, sits in her car for an hour before going to practice to do warm-ups for vocal warm-ups. Okay, and she doesn't tell anybody that she does this stuff because she just wants to make sure that she's able to honor and God and glorify him in the best way possible by taking care of it and taking it serious, and I think that's a huge thing. It's like, what we do behind closed doors does make a difference. It does, because she's not doing it for other people. She's not even doing it just for herself. She's doing it because that's the way that she really honors and worships and loves God, is through that. And we got to look at that as progress. It's progress. It's the small things, And this funeral last week was super honoring and glorifying to Tim and to God, but maybe not for her in that moment. But God worked it through her anyway, and that's how he does for us. It may not feel like we're making progress. Jason, you mentioned it earlier. It may not feel like it, but believe me, it is progress. If it's uncomfortable, if it feels like you fell down, pick yourself back up. Find somebody that's going to help motivate you. Listen to something in the morning. Become the lion early in the day. Don't allow those failures. A lion doesn't catch a gazelle every day. He doesn't get fed every day. It doesn't mean he's not going to get up the next day, though, and still be the lion.
Oh, yeah, you need to watch that video.
It is good. It is good. I'm actually going to put it on here again. And yes, Jason said it. It's the absolute 100% pure truth is her singing and the way she praises him as she is doing it so pure. It is. It's an amazing thing. I cry. I get goosebumps. It's all the whole thing, Sarah. But you know what? Hearing you being vulnerable about this might be uncomfortable, but it also gives comfort to others who get nervous. Yes, we're not alone. You're amazing, my friend. God gave you a gift. Yes.
And that's the one thing that I've
so sweet.
Tried to embrace. I'm not perfect about it. But with staying in tune with your purpose is doing things even though they're uncomfortable. Because after you're done, you're just like, but I did it. I did it. Yep. And now once I get through things like that, I try to tell myself, okay, up to doing it, have a better attitude. So then when you're done, you say, I did it. I also was embracing and being present in the journey to that. And so when you're looking at your purpose every single day and you wake up, don't forget what that is. Like when you wake up and you are like, hey, I got to take on this day. I got to maybe you have to go to a job that you absolutely hate. How can you have a better attitude about that? How can you say, okay, God, if you have me here for the rest of my life, if that's your will for me to be here for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I'm going to have a good attitude about it, and then do it. And then he'll open doors for you, and it's all about perspective and God. And you need the reminders. You need the community. You need to be watching the videos. You can't, it's not pure willpower that you can stay on track. It isn't. It just purely
No,
isn't.
it's not. It will run out.
Mm-hmm.
Willpower will take you so far, and that's truth. Hey, Mark, I'm not sure. I think that's the link that I put on earlier. If it is, give me a thumbs up or something, please, because I'm gonna repaste it again if that's not it. So I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to go watch this video. You know, it's something I encourage you, watch it. Christy was just saying, she goes, I want to watch it again. And she did watch it again. And I think it's something, you know, let's take the next 5 days, you know, let's take the remainder of this week until Saturday. And, you know, take in the morning and start off the day like a lion and listen to that video. It's 6 minutes, 6 minutes of your day, you know, listen to it.
Do sit-ups or something while you're kidding.
Well, let's not get crazy. Yes, it's the same link. Yes. Thank you, Mark Remarks.
Do a plank.
I appreciate that. Do a plank for 6 minutes, okay? Do us a favor. Send us a video of that plank for 6 minutes.
I will not be doing that.
Okay. I don't know anybody that will do one for 6 minutes personally. I don't know any of those people.
I can barely do one for 60 seconds.
Right. I know. It's wild. Where's the motivation in that?
I'm not planking. Don't think I am. I haven't planked in at least a year. But when I was working myself up, the minute was my work up too, is the 60 seconds.
Jason's like, yeah, no sit-ups. Right. No, we're good. No, we won't start with that, right? So motivation, right? So make sure that you know your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, we're going to do an episode on that. I want to do an episode on that donut list.
Yes, I want to do that.
Yeah, we will.
It can't be next week because we have a famous person coming on next week.
But we'll make sure to do that because I think it's important that you know and you know how to find your purpose. You know, it's important that you do that. But if you know what your purpose is, if you have an idea of what your purpose is, how do you stay motivated to do that? You do the 3 things, right? Know that you're a lion and you're not a gazelle. And that's a choice. It's a mindset each and every day. You don't have to go it alone, right? You can stick with a good tribe that's going to help you along the way. You cannot do this alone. I'm going to read that. And then progress, not perfection. Know that, you know, making a little bit of effort and going a little bit of progress each day, you don't have to be perfect. Those 3 things. Stacy, we got it. I'm too busy doing Kegels. Yeah, we got it. We don't need to explain that either, okay? About Kegels. Yes, we will definitely, Cassie, we're definitely going to do that because I think it's super important. He's like, donut lifts, yes. 1 and 2.
I should have had the picture for him if I would have known that you were going to make that comment. So Garrett was just talking the other day, and I found that picture where he had went out with a friend one time, and he bought this donut, and I'm not kidding you, this donut is like
it was
this
huge.
big. Yeah. And he's like, it's like as big as his head. And he ate the whole thing. It was crazy.
It's diabetes. And now we wonder why he has stomach issues.
We don't wonder. We just need to figure out how to fix it.
Just no more donuts the size of your face. That's part of it. All right. I want to thank everybody for being here. We hope you have an incredible rest of your evening and week. And hey, take that link below and make sure you go on YouTube and you watch it each day, 6 minutes, at least until
comment,
Friday.
like after you guys watch it, comment back on this thread.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, what'd you get out of it? It's did you cry? I cried, you know, and
not the stomach issue.
Yeah. Just tell us what was your biggest takeaway.
Yeah, for sure. And next week.
And what you're gonna do different.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're gonna change. Next week is an interview we're doing with somebody. We're not gonna tell you who. You're just gonna show up.
I want to tell you.
He's an author, right? He's written like 7 books, I think. He's an author. He is, it's really funny. Christy read his book just not too long ago. And then she's like, I'm going to reach out to him, see if he'll be on our podcast. And he's going to be. So that's super exciting. World renowned. It's going to be an awesome. There'll be a lot of value next week. So make sure you set an alarm for next week.
Well, as of right now, he said he would. He's pretty famous. I don't know.
All right. Don't go there. We'll just show up to look. We don't know what happened. So
we've had it happen. Okay, where guests have backed out on us. It's just part of being on a podcast. Okay, we embrace the suck. Okay,
it's a he and wrote books. Right. Yeah, there's a couple he's that wrote books. Okay,
his last name is kind of like Candyland. Kind of. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, it is not. Actually, Candyland.
It is so. What? The land part.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going to leave it on that. All right. You guys have a great night and we'll see you next Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Peace.
Bye.